Hey guys, welcome to my channel, and I'm your host Pabitra, who is working as an Azure Cloud Engineer at Microsoft. Is going to talk about an important topic from AZ-104 series, that is configured resources with Azure Resource Manager templates. So let's begin. So the learning objectives is from this session, you'll be able to list the advantages, you'll understand the advantages of Azure templates, you will be able to identify the schema components or the properties or the parameters which are used in Azure template, and then specify Azure template parameters, and finally locate and use Azure Quick Start templates. So basically I'll be talking about Azure templates, and all these things will be covered here. I believe you'll be able to have good knowledge about Azure templates from here. So let me begin. So the very first thing I want to begin with saying that what is Azure Resource Manager template? So just imagine, like in your company, they're asking you to deploy multiples of VMs and should be very fast and should be having almost similar values. Like VM which is deployed should be having 2 GB of RAM and 200 GB of hard disk. So similar configuration of VM multiple times. So don't you think it is a boring task to deploy all these VMs one by one manually? It will take up your entire day, and that's where automation and that's where Azure comes to your help. We have Azure Resource Manager template, which is there in Azure Cloud, which does your job. Like it helps you to deploy faster and help you with the repeatable work. Like for example, like you do not need to create a VM in the portal always and wait for it to finish, but rather you can create the VM immediately just by running the template. So a resource manager template generally takes care of your entire deployment for you, and there is very less manual intervention and very less manual work. So with that, saying that, you also have a lot of benefits from template. These are like templates generally improves consistency. So a resource manager templates provides a common language which describes your deployments. And you can use tools, any tool or SDK that you can use to deploy the template, and the structure, the format and expressions inside the template remains the same. Then templates help express complex deployments. So there are some deployments where you need to add multiple things like disk, network interfaces, storage. So everything can be added up into one particular template once, and then next time you just have to deploy it. So generally we have resource manager which maps out each resources and its dependent resources, and this creates dependent resources first. So that mapping is done by resource manager, and the template where you give all the information is just taken up, and you don't need to worry about, but make sure that you enter the parameters properly, and all the components like OS, disk, network interface, everything will be just deployed on the go based on the parameters you have given on the template. Next is template reduces manual error prone tasks. Yes, so once you have developed a fully functional template, the next time it is 100% sure that your template will work until unless there is any change in the backend, like the API version has changed or something. But rather than that, your template should work without any problem. So you just have to check from time to time. Generally doesn't happen, but you are using some old parameter, some old SKU version of VM which is not available in Azure Cloud anymore. So you have to just check those things about the availability, and rest you are good to go with the template. Like once developed properly and clean code is developed, you will be able to deploy without any issues. So templates are code. So by the way, I'm talking about templates, but these are templates made out of a code. So when you write inside, you will be generally typing like let me go to the portal and show it to you right away so that you guys won't be confused. So this is what I'm talking about. So any VM or any resource deployment in Azure Cloud generally has a code with parameters like name, ID, type, location, everything, whatever you are giving here is actually written as a code. So either you can go ahead with JSON templates, or JSON is a language which you can use to write these templates, or you can use Azure Biceps, which is again another way to deploy resources in Azure Cloud. So these are all codes. And okay, so next thing is template promotes reuse. So yeah, as I told you, right, like once you have developed, like for suppose here, if you have developed this code as a template, then you can simply reuse this template again and again. So that helps you to saves time and reusing the code rather than putting your all the efforts in changing the parameters values each and every time you want to deploy a resource. Then templates are linkable, like you can link resource manager templates together to make templates themselves modular. So that feature is also there. You can write small templates that each define a piece of solution. So a smaller template can finally build up a bigger solution. So you can have templates in a linkable way. So that is also possible. And then it generally combines them to create a complete system. So small pieces of templates which you have created can be collaborated to form a bigger solution, which then can create a complete system like multiple VMs with network storage and application deployment. So full-fledged application deployment you can achieve from a template. Then templates simplify orchestration. So what that means is just need to deploy the template, which will help you to deploy all of your resources. So normally if you want to do like if you want to create a VM then you have to, let me show that. If you are creating a VM, then it will have disk, it will have storage, it will have networking components, it will have VM SKUs, it will have automation. So everything you have to do manually. Imagine like if I'm creating a VM, then I have to create the networking components, then I have to add the size, then I have to add the disks, then I have to add scalability options, I have to add security type, then any shutdown like auto shutdown automation or stuff like that. So everything, if you do it manually, it will take, at least for a VM, it will take you like 20 to 25 minutes. But if you do this with via a template, giving all these parameters into a template, it can be done in a couple of minutes. So imagine the time it saves. So that is the power and benefit of templates. So let me go back now. I want to talk more about the schema, how this Azure Resource Manager template looks like and what all the things are there. So Azure Resource Manager templates are written in actually JSON language, and it allows you to it helps you to store the data as an object, such as a virtual machine in text. So JSON document is a collection of all the key value pairs, and each key is a string, like as I showed you earlier, right? See, here we have name, then we have given the VM name, then we have ID. So these are all parameters and the value given. So in these, again, we have multiple things. Let me go back. Like we have a string, we have a number, we have a Boolean expression, a list of values, and object. So here you could see like there is a JSON or template, or I would say a resource manager, this one, and you can see, right, it contains sections that are using JSON notation, like here you see .json notation, but they aren't actually related to JSON language itself. So you have to be aware of it. So next I would show you or I would talk more about, if you are confused now, I'll talk more about the schema. Like here you see, right, there is a schema, right? So what is this schema? So it is a location where the JSON schema file, or it describes a version of the template language. So you see, this is the version. Then we have content version. So in content version, what we have to do is like it will generally give a version of the template like 1.0.0 like this. You will have a version. So what this means that this value in the document signifies that the changes in your document, like it is used for tracking purpose. You can give it as 1.0.0 for the first one. Next time if you make any changes, just give the value as 1. The next 2 is just like versioning of your template. So these many changes you have done. So if you want to go back to the version 1, you will always be able to go back because you have done some settings and configurations which is now needed, and you can deploy it. But if you need the latest one, like you have done some changes and you have saved with the content version as 0.3, then you can deploy this template with this content version. So that it means. So it makes sure that you are using the right template. That's it. Then comes parameter. Parameter is not required, but then the values that are provided in the deployment is executed to customize the resource deployment. Like here, see, we have ID, right? So I'm not taking ID, but yeah, I'm talking about location. I'm talking about location. So if you take location as a parameter, then this is the value we have given, East US, right? So East US is a value given to the parameter location. Okay, it's telling that this is your I'm just taking a parameter's location, and this is where the VM has to be deployed. Then comes variables. So values that are used as JSON fragments and templates to signify the template language expressions. So values are generally this is a value. If I can show you, if you are seeing my screen, this is the value. East US is a value given to the parameter. So any value that you are providing and is used when you are customizing your deployment. Then comes functions. So functions are user-defined functions that are available within the templates. They are like any normal functions, right? Like you see, I'm using OS profile as a function, and inside that I'm giving the OS details like computer name, admin username. So this is one of the function. So that is, and then we have resources. Resource types that are deployed or updated in a resource group. So resources means like where it is, I have network profile, then I have security profile, user profile, and then under that we go down here, we have resources. So in the resources we are having a name as AD hash login for Linux. Type is this is a VM extension we are giving. So from here the resource function starts, and anything declared inside that, like enable VM accesses and then guest attestation. So these are all coming under this resource, and you can give based on your requirement, like what all things you need to have. Like all these are talking about the extensions, talking about the logins, So yeah, that's all. And then we have outputs, values that are returned after the deployment. So what output you want to give? I haven't given any output here, but if you want, you can give some output like field error message or something like that. If anything goes wrong, if any value is given which is more than accepted one, so you can display an error message. So like that. Okay, now let me go back to okay, so template parameters I have discussed. Now let me talk more about this template. So here you see there is an example, like this is a code which is having no value, but here is a code with two parameters, like admin username and admin password. And there you see the one of the virtual machine's username and one for its password. So this is for username and this is for password. So these are the parameters I'm using here, and the value I'm describing here as string, type is string, metadata, username for the virtual machine, and this is the password for the virtual machine. So you can see how a basic template looks like, and how when you are supplying the parameters and how you are customizing the template, it depends on you, and you can give the values in this way. So if you need admin password, then type should be secure string, and then metadata and description should be password for your virtual machine. So just an information here, you're limited to 256 parameters in a template. So just mind that you cannot use more than 256 parameters. So you have to be very careful. And you can reduce the number of parameters by using objects that contain multiple properties. So that is an advanced level of template creation. You can understand later on once we go through this video, and in the coming videos, I'll be talking more about customization part as well. I'll create a video especially for Azure Manager template. Now for this session, it is not needed that much in that level, but just for your awareness. Now let's talk about biceps template. So Azure biceps is generally a DSL language, which we call as domain specific language. It uses declarative syntax to deploy Azure resources. Now you just have seen ARM templates, but bicep templates also helps you to deploy resources in Azure cloud. So you can use bicep instead of JSON to develop your Azure Resource Manager. Like here is a Visual Studio where I have created a main.bicep file, and there you can see, right, like I am creating a storage account, and I have given the storage account name, location, SKU. So this is a little bit different in writing. The syntax is a little different, but again, this is also used for resource deployment in Azure cloud. So you can just open your Visual Studio Code, you can authorize your Azure VM, and you can simply run this code and deploy the resources into your Azure cloud. It's just like that. If you guys have, or if you have any awareness on Terraform, which does IAC, infrastructure as a code, so you can consider this bicep as a language, but use Visual Studio as a code for resource deployment. So kind of a substitute for Terraform. Okay. So okay, yeah. So I think this should be fine, but the more I would say the benefits or what biceps provides or brings onto the tables is like it uses simpler syntax. Like if you see, like it uses a simpler syntax, means bicep provides simpler syntax for writing these templates. Okay, so you can reference parameters and variables directly without using complicated functions. You see, I'm saying that param location string, and then I'm giving resource group and location. Directly I'm calling resource group and location. So generally you can reference the properties of resource directly by using this symbolic name instead of complex reference statements. So this statements improves and help you both with authoring and reading bicep templates. Then comes modules. You can break down complex template deployments into smaller modules. So you can have small modules and then reference them with the main template. So right now I have created this main.bicep. Then I can, inside that I can create another modules for like storage account separately, for VM separately, and then you can link it with the main biceps. It's very similar to Terraform. If you guys have used Terraform, then you will be aware of. If you are not aware of Terraform, it's good, fine. But in Terraform, we have the same thing. Like this is a main file, and whatever things we declare over here, we can also have different modules separately, where we can write storage account fully, and then VM details fully, or networking details fully, and then link it with this main file. So this is the main.bicep file. This is the main file which we run generally to deploy the resources. And those small modules for different resources attached to a particular VM can be having a separate section under modules and linked to this main file. Okay, then it is okay. The next one is automatic dependency management. So what bicep does for you is it automatically detects any dependencies between your resources. So this process removes some other work involved in the template authoring. So it detects any dependencies are there between your resources, and generally it gives you that suggestions. Like probably maybe like if I just remove this, okay. So this is the IntelliSense first, and then you just type in location. So this is the benefit of using Visual Studio Code. And yeah, so next point is I was talking about type validation and IntelliSense. So which I just showed you now, right? Like when I was typing resource group, so it automatically comes up. See, this is giving you by itself. Like I no need to just I type the dot and then I can select any of this values. So this is what it does. And even like this is the benefit of Visual Studio for Code by default, so nothing special. But if you use this in the extension, like generally I installed in the extension. Okay, if I go into the extension, see I have installed this bicep. So in order to use bicep code here, you just have to make sure that you install. Like right now I have installed a bicep, so it says uninstall. That means it is already installed. So like this way, like this one, align bicep. So if you just click on this, so if you haven't installed bicep extension in your Visual Studio for Code, it will give you this option to install. You just have to install this and then you can start writing the bicep code. So generally we have a main.bicep. You have to start with this, naming the file, and then you can start declaring the variables and based on your requirement, like resource storage account. So you can just have resource resource. Okay, then okay, okay, then we have yeah, then I can write like resource, then VM extension, and what I can type in here is Microsoft dot compute virtual machines extensions. So where is virtual machine extensions? Microsoft dot compute and then virtual machine extensions. So I can have network interfaces as well, and then like this way you can just simply declare the value like use equal to, and then if secure. So yeah, probably I don't want to go more into this, but this is how you can just take use of this IntelliSense and you can write your own bicep code. So yeah, so I'm good on that. Next will be to talk about the templates, quick start template. So in Azure, you have a lot of different templates, like ARM templates as well as provided. So this is how the Azure template looks like. If I just go on to this, quick start template. Okay, quick start center. So get started with Azure. So it is nothing but it is going to give you an overall tour, but let me go to Azure quick start template. So you have this called as all these templates. You can find it over here. So yeah, so these are the templates, like you can just choose any one of your choice. Like this is Azure Resource Manager device update samples for .NET. So if I just click on add, so what it will do is add to my collection. Okay, and if I click on this one, it will give me the code. So you see, so this is the MD file. Let me just open it. So it's talking about how you can create an account, then list all the accounts, and then update an account and all. And if you go inside, then I have assets.json file. So you can do the fork, you can do the deployment using this particular website or this particular link. Okay, and you can also search here with bicep, and you can search with like Azure load balancer. Okay, then let me just click on this one, and it gives you an option to directly deploy in Azure. Like if I click on deploy to Azure, and you will find that the resource will be directly deployed onto Azure. Yes, so this is a custom deployment, and you're using that bicep template. So you can also click on edit template, and you will be able to see what all resource, see its name, bicep, and schema. I told you about content version, right? So this is the content version. Right now it's 0. That means it is a vanilla template. So you can, as you progress early, into your environment and you create more and more templates, you can just change the naming here from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Like, and then we have a lot of parameters and variables. Here we are declaring the variables. Then we have resources. Under resources, what is this? This is a server farms. Okay, Microsoft.web, that is for web app, right? Then we have SKU, all this variable type declaration and everything. It's happening here. So this is how it looks. And then let me go to the next thing. It is now about the labs. Yes, so excited, right? Like labs are always good to do and play around with. So the first thing which I'll start with is like a review an ARM template for a deployment of Azure managed disks. Okay, so what will I do is I'll simply go to any resource groups. Okay, I'll go. Yes. So now let me start with the lab. Here I'll be talking about the first task, which is reviewing the ARM template of a deployment of an Azure VM. Okay, so for this, let me create a disk. It will be home lab DC1. Okay, disk name will be test disk 01. Okay, and let me create this one immediately. Okay, it requires a tag, so I remember. Yeah, so validation is created because I created some policy to that particular resource group. So if you guys are following my videos, and in the earlier videos I have talked about Azure policy, so that policy is applied. Without tags I cannot deploy any resource in this resource group. So now I'm able to deploy this resource. Let me deploy this disk. You guys should be following up with me. I'm doing everything from scratch so that you will have very good understanding what mistakes I'm doing, where I'm going, where I'm navigating to the Azure portal, so that you can follow along with me, and you can also experience the first-hand failures and then achieve the success as I go through the lab session. So I really appreciate all the support I'm getting from you guys, and because of which I'm able to actually create these videos and motivate you guys. So yeah, so I have created this resource. This resource is created on this resource group. So let me go on to deployments now. Some problem, it's not showing up the resource deployments. Okay, yeah, so I'm able to see this managed disk. So I'll just click on this in the deployments, and then I'll go to a template. So this is the template you guys see. So I'll just show you and review this, because this is just for review purpose. This lab is so this is how the template looks like. You can download this template and then you can upload and do multiple deployments as you wish. Even you can deploy directly from here straight away. So I'll just deploy this. Okay, and this is downloaded. So open. So this is where it has exported the file. So if it is not exported, what you have to do is like you have to just right click on this, extract all, and it will show you this. So just click on extract and you will be able to see the parameters and template file. So that's all for the task 1, and let's move on to the next task. So the next task is create an Azure managed disks by using an ARM template. So what we have to do is we have to create a managed disk from an ARM template. Okay, so now we just go to here and type in deploy a custom template. Okay, yeah, this is the deploy a custom template. So here, from here we can deploy VMs, custom VMs, or we can use our own custom deployment of the VM. So just click on that, then I'll click on build your own template editor. Then here I'll click on load file. So in the load file I'll choose that file which I actually just now created, right? So this is for managed disks. So if I go inside that and then I just need to click on template and then click on open. Okay, so once you open this, so this is how it looks like, schema and all this default value will be given. So I just need to scroll down a bit. So here we have okay, so if I just go above, so source ID to create option is already gone, I think. And then we also have to check Hyper-V is also there. No, nothing is there. So only thing is, if I want to change it, like anything you want to change, like if you want to give any different name or something like that, so you can do that. Or if you want to change the zone or skew, anything you want to change, you can just simply select it here and give the value. So for now, I don't think I need to change anything, but I'm good. So yeah, everything is fine, perfect. Then I'll click on save. So this is what I get. Then I need to go to edit parameters, and then I have to click on load file, because I was being asked so many things, right? So why I will enter them manually, rather I'll just load it and then I'll save. So you see all the values, disk name and everything is just put in over here. But if I want to change the name, I just want to give test disk 02, that I can do from my side, and that's enough. So you will see all the values just by themselves have been put in here, and currently it is checking. So and resource group is already selected, so I will not select any specific resource group. Rather, everything looks fine for me. Disk name, already I made a change in the template parameter, so that should be fine for me. I'll just click on review and create. So it says the basic validation has failed. You know what validation? So source ID. Yeah, so while deploying this, it is asking for the source resource ID. So how you can find the source resource ID is, because I'm deploying this disk on this resource group HomeLab DC1. So what I did was, like, I went to the storage account which is in this resource group. Let me show you again. Like, I just went into storage account and then I selected the storage account which is under this resource group. So if I clicked on this, then this overview section will come up. I think it's taking time to show up. So what will happen is, now, yeah, so this came up. Just click on JSON view, and from here you can come copy this source resource ID and paste it here. Yeah, so this is fine, right? Like, now you can go ahead and review and create. Yeah, just click on create and that's it. My deployment is successful. So task 2 is completed. Now review ARM template based deployments of the managed disk. So this is my last I would say lab task. So now we'll be going on to Azure portal, and okay, I think the deployment is still happening. So I think the deployment is still happening. You can just make sure this is done. Okay, so deployment is complete. Now if I go to a resource group and then I click on deployments, and I could see there is a Microsoft template which is there. And next, if I click on templates, you see this is the template. And if I just go on to inputs, so these all things are there which I have given during the inputs as a parameters, and this has been taken up. So I have reviewed the template, it's fine, it's completed successfully. So guys, here now I complete my session, and I hope you have liked this session very much. It was informative, and if you do want to watch more videos on Azure Cloud and be an expert in Azure Cloud, do like and subscribe my channel and support me. I definitely need your support in order to proceed with making more good contents for you and make you be very strong in the Azure cloud space, so that you can get a job in Azure cloud as a cloud administrator or a cloud engineer, or you can grow in your career if you want to make your career into cloud space. So keep following and keep supporting, and do like and subscribe my channel. Thank you guys.